So in this video, we're going to solve system of equations by a new method, which is elimination. So first example. So first observe your equations. You see what? You see, first each pair you have a pair of x, a pair of y, and on the other side you have a pair of single numbers. Okay, and then you're gonna observe. To look for the same number in front of the variable. Okay? Ignore the sign. Okay? And we see that in front of x, you have the same number, 4 and 4. So for this type of problem, we can use elimination method. So how are you going to do this? Okay? First, observe the same numbers in front of the x this time, right? And then look at the sign of the number. So here is -4 and +4, so you have opposite signs. So for opposite signs, you are going to add up the two equations. Why do I add it up? Because -4 plus 4 is 0. You eliminated that one variable, and you have only one variable left that you can solve. Okay? So here in front of x, we have two same numbers, and they have the opposite sign. So what we need to do is to add up the two equations, and let's see what we're going to have. -4x plus 4x is 0. You cancel it out. You eliminated it. And second place is -2y plus 8y. Add the number in the front. -2 plus 8 is +6y. It's like combining like terms, right? And next is equal sign. And on the other side, add up the two single numbers. -12 plus -24 is -36. So you have this simple equation after adding up these two equations and eliminate the variable x. And now you can keep solving this equation for y by getting rid of the 6 by division. So we have y equals -6. So you have one of the solutions. And we know for system of equations, we need two solutions. So we already have y, the other solution is x. So what are you going to do? You are going to plug -6 in y to either of this equation. You can use whatever equation you want here. Okay? So let's use the second equation. Plug -6 in to the place of y. Okay? So the second equation, I'm going to copy it here. It becomes 4x plus 8 times -6 equals -24. And keep solving this equation. First, get rid of the parentheses by multiplication. So I have 4x minus 8 times -6 is -48 equals -24. And keep solving this equation. Get rid of the 48 first, right? By addition. So we have 4x equals, add up the two numbers, +24, and then divide by 4. So we have x equals 6. And we finish. X equals 6, y equals -6 is the solution of this system of equations. And finally, check your answer. How are you going to check it? Plug 6 and -6 to x and y in either of the equation. So let's use the first equation. X is 6, plug it in. Y is -6 plus plug it in to see if it really equals -12 on the other side. Okay? So -4 times 6 is -24. -2 times -6 is +12. And -24 plus 12 equals -12. It means our solution for x and y are right. Okay, next one. So when you get the problem, first make sure you have each pair in the equation. So you have a pair of x, pair of y, pair of single number on the other side. Okay? And then Observe your equation to look for the same number in front of a pair of variables. So we see the numbers in front of x are different. This is imaginary one, right? And the number in front of the y are the same. It's imaginary one and imaginary one. So this time we're going to deal with the y. And then look for the sign in front of them. This is -1, this is +1. So you have opposite sign in front of the same number. So for opposite sign, you're going to add up the two equations. So let's add the two equations up for each pair. Okay? So first pair, 1x plus 2x give you 3x. Second pair, -1 plus 1 give you 0. You eliminated one variable and equal sign. On the other side, 11 plus 19 give you 30. And keep solving the equation for x by getting rid of the 3 by division. So I have x equals 10, one solution. And for the other solution, you're going to plug 10 to x in either of the equation. So let's use the second equation. When you see x, plug in 10 because x equals 10, right? And keep solving this second equation. I'm going to copy it down. So it's 2 times 10 plus y equals 19. And first get rid of the parentheses by multiplication. So I have 20 plus y equals 19. And keep solving for y by getting rid of the 20, the single number first, by subtracting. And we have y equals -1. And that's it. Okay, if you want to check your answer, you can plug 10 and -1 to the place of x and y and see if it equals 11 on the other side. Next one. So this time, still check for, you have a pair of x, pair of y, pair of single number, and then look for the same number. This time the same number is in front of the y, 2 and 2, and check for the sign. This time we'll have both positives. So you have the same sign in front of the same number. So for the same sign, how are we going to eliminate it? We're going to subtract the two equations. So draw a subtraction sign between the two equations, and then subtract each pair. So first pair, 7 subtract 8 give you -1x. Second pair, 2 subtract 2 give you 0. You eliminated one variable and equal sign. On the other side, 24 subtract 30 give you -6. So you have this simple equation. So keep solving for x by getting rid of the -1 by division because it's multiplication relationship. Do the same on the other side, divide -1. So we have x equals 6. When you get x, plug it in, plug 6 into x to either of the equation. This time let's use the first equation. So let's plug 6 to the place of x. Okay? And let's rewrite the first equation, which is 7 times 6 plus 2y equals 24. First, get rid of the parentheses by multiplication. Copy the rest. Keep solving the equation for y by getting rid of the single number by subtraction. So I have 2y equals -22. Right? Is -18. I'm sorry, I have a calculation problem here. Okay. And finally, get rid of the 2 by division. So you have y equals -9, and that's it. Okay. Next one. Okay, I think I have the same problem there. So let's skip this one and work on this one. So first, check for your equation. A pair of x, a pair of y, a pair of single number. And then look for the same number. This time the same number is in front of the x, 6. And they have opposite sign. One positive, one negative, right? So you're going to add up the two numbers to eliminate it to get a 0, right? So add up the two equations, pair by pair. Negative plus positive is 0. And 5 plus 4 is 9. Y equals, add up the two numbers is -9. And solve the equation for y by division. So you have y equals -1. And then look for x by plugging -1 into y to either of the equation. So let's use the second equation, plug -1 to the place of y, and rewrite the second equation. And solve it by get rid of the parentheses first by multiplication, and copy the rest. And get rid of the 4. Finally, get rid of the 6. So I have x equals -1 also. And that's it. Next example, this is more complicated because first check for each pair, right? So I have a pair of x, a pair of y, a pair of single number, and look for the same number. You see 7 and 2 different, imaginary 1 and 3 different. So we don't have the same number in front of the two variables. So what are you gonna do? First, you're gonna create the same number by multiplying a number to the entire equation. So can you turn 2 into 7 by multiplying something? You cannot, right? 7. The second thing, can you turn imaginary 1 into 3 by multiplying something? Yes, you can. 1 times 3 gives you 3. So let's multiply the first equation by 3. You're going to multiply the entire equation. So you're not change the equation, but you enlarge it at the same time. Okay? And let's rewrite the first equation after multiplication. So 3 times -7 is -21x. 3 times 1y is +3y equals sign. 3 times -19 is -57. Okay. And this is your real first equation that you want. And let's copy the second equation down so you can see each pair and their relationship, right? Okay, so now you'll see what? You see the number in front of the y are the same. So you have the same numbers and check their sign. Both are positive, so you have the same sign. So for same sign, to eliminate the 3, 3 subtract 3 is 0, right? So you're going to subtract the two equations. So let's subtract the two equations for each pair, right? First pair, -21 subtract -2. Give you what? Give you -19. You're doing subtraction, right? Let's put the work here. -21 subtract -2 give you negative 19. Be careful. The first subtraction is between the two equations. The second negative sign is negative 2 here. Okay? And second pair, positive 3 subtract positive 3 is 0. You eliminated it. I'm sorry, this is negative 19x. Okay? And equal sign. And on the other side, negative 57 subtract negative 19 give you negative 38. Okay, so I have this simple equation. And then keep solving it by getting rid of the negative 19 by dividing it. So we have x equals 2. Okay? When we get x, plug it into either of the equation. Let's use the second equation. Plug 2 to the place of x and calculate it. So let's write this equation down, which is negative 2 times 2 plus 3y equals negative 19. This is our work over there, right? And it's negative 4 plus 3y. Keep solving the equation for y. Finally, divide by 3. And that's it. Okay, so this equation tells you if at the beginning you don't see the same number in front of x or in front of the y, you create the same number by multiplying some number to one of the equations. And when you get the new equation, look for what you're going to do between the two equations. Okay? So let's look at this question. At the beginning, you don't have the same number in front of x and y, so you're going to create the same number. What are you going to do? Okay? So you can turn 1 into negative 4 by multiplying 4, or you can turn 3 into 9 by multiplying 3. So you have two ways to do it. Okay? So which way do you want? I want to turn 3 into 9. Okay, so turn 3 into 9 by multiplying 3 to the second equation. Right? So we're going to multiply 3 to the entire equation. So you're enlarging each part of the equation at the same time. So this time we're going to rewrite the second equation because you enlarged the second equation. Okay? So 3 times 1x is 3x. 3 times negative 3y is negative 9y, equal sign. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. Okay? This is your new second equation. And let's copy down the first equation and look for the relation for each pair, right? Okay? And this time you'll see what? You see in front of the y, you have the same number and the different signs. So for opposite sign, we're going to add up the two equations to get a 0. Negative 9 plus 9 is 0. So we add up the two equations. Okay? And let's see what we have. 3 plus negative 4 give you negative 1x. Negative 9 plus 9 is 0. Equal sign. Negative 18 plus 9 is negative 9. And keep solving the equation for x by division. So we have x equals positive 9. Okay. When you get the value of x, plug 9 into x to either of the equation. So let's use the first equation. Okay. So plug 9 to the place of x. Right? And let's copy it down. The equation becomes negative 4 times 9 plus 9y equals 9. Okay, solve it. You have this, and then add 36. And finally divide by 9. So you have y equals 5. And that's it. Okay. Next one. Again, you don't have the same number in front of x or y, right? So you're going to create the same. So can you turn 3 into 5? No. Can you turn 2 into 5? No. So what are you going to do? You just need to pick up one pair and then multiply both of the equation by the number in front of the other equation. It means what? Let's see it. Okay. So I want to use x. I want to eliminate x. So I need the same number in front of the x. So how are you going to do it? So I know 3 times 5 is 15. And 5 times 3 is 15. So I have the same number. So multiply the numbers in front of x between each equation. So 3 times 5 give you 15. And 5 times 3 give you 15. So this time to create the same number, you have to multiply the number to each of the equation and get two new equations. So for the first equation, multiply 5 to everybody. You're going to have 15x minus 10y equals 10. Second equation, multiply 3 to everybody. You're going to have 15x minus 15y equals 30. Okay? And you have these two new equations, and this time you see in front of the x we have the same number, and the sign are the same sign. So you're gonna subtract the two equations to cancel out 15. Right? So subtract the two equations. 15 subtract 15, you eliminated it. Negative 10 subtract negative 15. So negative 10 subtract negative 15. You have double subtraction here, right? Which is 5. So let's put the work here. Yeah. So here you have positive 5y equals 10 minus 30 is negative 20. Okay. And keep solving the equation for y by division. Right? Y equals negative 4. Okay. And when you have y, plug it into either of the equations to look for x. Okay? So let's plug negative 4 to the second equation, to the place of y. Okay? So I'm going to rewrite the second equation here, which is 5x minus 5 times negative 4 equals 10, and solve it. So I have 5x plus 20 equals 10. Get rid of the two numbers. So we have x equals negative 2, and that's it. Okay. Next one. So this time you'll see what? You'll see the two equations are not in the right order. You need to have a pair of x, a pair of y, a pair of single number on the other side. So first let's rearrange both of the equations. So for the first equation, I'm going to copy it here. I want the single number to be on the other side. So you need to move it to the other side. How are you going to move positive 3? You're going to subtract 3 on both sides of the equal sign. So let's rearrange it, and your new equation is 2x minus y equals 0 plus negative 3 is negative 3. So this is your real first equation. Okay. And for the second equation, it's still not in the right order, so let's rearrange it. I'm gonna write it here. I'm gonna copy it here. And this time, I want the x to be on this side and the single number to be on the other side. So what you're gonna do? So you move the -3 to the other side by adding 3 on both sides. So this is gone. And you move, let's write the first step. So I have -7y equals 10x plus 3, right? And you want to move the 10x to the other side by subtracting 10x. So this is gone. Okay? And you have the second equation, which is -10x minus 7y equals 3. So this is your real second equation, and let's put it here. So you can see the relationship of each pair. Okay, so these are your two correct range equations. And now look for the same number and add or subtract the two equations. Okay? And you'll see you don't have the same number in front of x or in front of y. So create the same number. So can you turn 2 into 10 by multiplying something? Yes, you can, right? You can multiply 5. So let's multiply the first equation by 5. Okay? And your real first equation after multiplying 5 is 10x minus 5y equals -15. So this is your real problem. Okay, so now you have the two equations you can use. And now you see you have the same number in front of x and they have opposite sign. So you're going to add up the two equations. -10 add 10, 0. -7 add -5 is -12y equals, add up the two numbers is -12. And then solve the equation for y by division. So we have y equals +1. Okay? And when you have y, plug it into either of these 6 equations, you can get the same x. Okay? So let's plug 1 to the first equation. So plug 1 in here to the place of y, and let's rewrite the first equation. It is 3 plus 2y minus 1 equals 0. And keep solving the equation for y. And on the same side of the equal sign, you'll see two single numbers, combine them. So you have 2 plus 2y equals 0. Right? And then get rid of the single 2 by subtraction. So you have, finally get rid of the 2 by division. So you have y equals -1, and that's it. Okay, so these are all different kinds of questions you're gonna see for elimination method. The key is first have the right form of the equations. Each pair of x and y and a single number should corresponding to each other. And then look for the same number in front of one variable, and then decide whether you're going to add or subtract the two equations to eliminate the same number. And when you only have one variable left, you can solve that variable. And when you have the answer for one variable, plug it into either of the equation to calculate the other variable. And that's it. And I have a mistake here. is 2x. Yeah, x. So x equals -1. Okay. Finally, SAT question. So solve this equation. Solve this inequality, right? Let's copy it here. So solve it like you solve the equation. So first you see two variables on different sides. So move them together by doing the opposite. So this is gone. And here you can combine them, which give you -4z. And copy the rest. And keep solving this equation by subtract 4 first. So we have, and finally you want to divide -4. So I have z. On the other side, 2 divided by -4 is -1/2. However, you need to be very, very, very careful. Okay? If you divide a negative number or multiply a negative number for inequality, if what you're doing is divide or multiply a negative number for inequality, your inequality symbol must be changed. Okay, so that's your answer, which is A. You see the difference between A and C? They're almost the same, but one greater than, one less than. So the trick here is, if you divide a negative number, you have to switch the sign of the inequality. Okay. Last one, solve this proportion equation, right? So you know if you have a proportional equation, you just need to cross multiply. Okay. So x times 6 is 6x. -8 times 12 is -96. And finally, divide by 6. So I have x equals -1/6. Okay.